This is a demonstration of Tutorial 3 Drafting. This lesson gives you the access to drafting capacities to generate manufacturing plans. This task will show you how to define the drawing sheet used for creating the views described in later tasks. First of all, it's very important to remember that drafting is accessible under mechanical design. You can see the module of drafting. So far, in the previous tutorials, you have been familiarized with part design and sketcher. Right now, we are getting familiarized with the drafting. You can access this from different methods. You can either click on drafting on this module at this instant, or you can click File and New, and then you can select from the menu of the list of types the family of drawing. So if you click drawing and you click OK, it will open for you the drafting menu. It is very important that you select which standard you are going to create your draft with. We are going to select the ISO standard and a sheet style of A3, the global scale 1:1, and this is give us some of the dimensions. We're going to click OK, and this will take us to this place where we are going to start generating the drafts. So it's one of the things is in the generative drafting workbench, a grid is set by default, and this is a grid. So by default, this is snap to point, as well as this is a grid that you can see for the sketcher. So you can activate or deactivate the grid. I have a personal preference to deactivate it, but if you desire to, you can actually activate it if you prefer to have some kind of reference mechanism such as grid. For this tutorial, we're going to need some files. You can download them as well as, and then we can extract them. And this will open up the two files that you need. The two files that you need are the back arm, which is the design, the part that we're going to use, as well as a CATIA drawing file, which includes the layout that we are going to discuss in a few seconds. So let's go ahead and I'm going to move this on this side, and I am going to put them on the desktop so that I can easily access them. And let's go ahead and open the part. Click File, Open, and we are going to our tutorial 3 needed files, and we are going to open the back arm cat part that was designed before. The part will be opened and it will remain displayed in the window, and even if we are creating different views from the part. Now there are different ways we can actually, if you remember, you can tilt the part, you can change, you can click reframe on, you can change the view to something that you desire. Before I proceed, you can see that my CATIA is a little bit messed up because I was using it, so I was moving the toolbars left and right. In case you lose a certain toolbar, you can right click on customize, and then we give it a couple of seconds, click on toolbars, restore all contents, and restore position. This will reset CATIA to its default. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on window and tile horizontally, and this will enable us to see at the same time the part as well as the drawing. In the drawing window, if we click on the drawing window, observe the toolbars. So these toolbars are relevant for the drawing. If I go back and click in here, you will see that we are back into the part design. So this is very important. We are going to click on the drawing window, and then we're going to click on the view front. So if I click here, you can see that there are different views: front view, unfolded view, view from 3D, isometric view, and advanced front view. So these are different views that you can have. And also, you can see that there are other options that get highlighted as you are progressing from them. And sometimes you can have what we call access to um, sub toolbars in case something is activated. So we are going to click on the drawing window. We're going to click on the front view icon, and then we are going to select a desired planar surface from the part that we opened. So we're going to select this face in here. And what happens is blue arrows that are in here and a green frame, including a preview of the view to be created, will appear on the sheet. Now, these frames and arrows let you define the location and orientation of the view to be created. As long as you see the green frame, you can define the frame position using the blue manipulators. Or what we can do is also we can move it if we want. So I'm going to, just for demonstration, press on them. So this is helping me create the different views. I can click on top, I can left, right, and so on. So let me restore the view that we've had. So this is, here we go. This is the view that we've had, and we are going to click on the drawing sheet at the center to generate the view. So we've created the front view, and we have created it from the 3D drawing that we had operating. Now, if you don't want to display the view names and the scaling factor that we have in here, you can go to Tools, Options, and then within Tools Options, and this is something very, very important. Like for example, I was changing some units. So you can in here change if you want to move from inches to millimeters and so on. So now we're going to go to Mechanical Design. So this is Mechanical Design. Within Mechanical Design, we're going to go to Drafting. This is the toolbar this is the workbench that we are in, the module that we are in. So this is where we can do the parameters. And then there are different tabs in here. We're going to click on the Layout tab, and this shows us the view name, scaling factor, view frame. If we don't want the name and the scaling factor, we can uncheck them in here. So by default, a number of elements can be visualized on generated views. And if we want, we can click here on View and select these different elements. We can click as Generate the Fillet, we can ask for to apply specifications and so on. So this is something that can be eventually useful. So this is how we demonstrated the creation of a first view. So this is a front view, and if we wanted to like position it or move it, we can go ahead and do that. So that is a first step. Now that we know how to create a view, and this view is actually a kind of a straightforward. You select which plane you want, and you observe this element. Now let's go ahead and try to look at if we want to actually create a different kinds of views. Like for example, a section view. We're gonna go back. We are now in the drawing window. We're gonna click on the offset section view icon from the views toolbar. So this is in here. This is the offset view section, like we have in here what we call the views toolbar. We have different element: offset section view, align section view, offset section cut, and align section cut. We're going to select the first one, which is the offset section view. After selecting the offset section view, we are going to select the holes and points required for sketching the callout on the view. In our case, it's going to be the horizontal line that cuts the part in half. So by selecting this, we can double click and select it on and place it on top of the part. So this helps us to create a section view, and this section view is like you have a fictitious plane, where this plane is in the middle of your part. So by selecting the middle in here, it is as if we have cut our part in the middle. By the way, there's another view also. You can tile vertically. Sometimes, you know, some people would like to see a smaller, like the part smaller like this, and the drawing a little bit bigger like this. So that also can work, and that can help maximize the view for all of you. So this helped us to create this section view, where we have, in this pattern that you see in here, this means that we have cut in the material. So if you look in here there is void at the section, but in here in the middle, and you can coordinate the different elements, you have a pattern. This means that we have cut the material, just like this hollow tube in this location. Now that we have demonstrated the creation of the section view, it is important to know that the dotted lines, so in here we have, these are the dotted lines, the AA, and this is showing that this is the section view for the AA. Now we did deactivate what is like the different location like AA and so on, so we will need to actually properly rename that. So in here we had front view. So just to demonstrate that again, if we go to tools options and we go back to drafting and we click on the layout and we put the view name and scaling factor, if we go back and we create the same element, so before I do that, I better have this one activated, and actually we can deselect this. I'm not sure if it's gonna let me do it twice on top of each other, but let's see. Okay, so this one is showing me actually the plane live, as you can see it on the demonstration with the angle. I'm going to, since my goal was to anyways demonstrate the creation of a section, so and with automatically the name, so I'm just gonna go ahead and select it and put it in here, and see that in here you have the section BB, and it automatically created for you that, hey, section BB, this is what it is. So we're going to delete this section because we don't need it. So now I am going to also delete this section and go back and reperform it one last time by the clicking offset section view, select the plane that we have, and double clicking here. Now we show AA and it shows section view AA. Now there is another way that you can add and remove text. Actually, you can literally double click on it. Let's say I just wanted that this is the section view AA, and I didn't want to show the scale. I can easily modify that, but we will take more and more details as we're practicing. So at this stage, we have created the isometric, we have created the front view, we have created a section view. Now let's go ahead and create an isometric view. So we're going back to the same toolbar in here. This is the toolbar that we have. And if we click on this front view, this shows us, so we can click a view. Now some more elements are activated because we've created some initial drafts, but we can click this one and create this isometric view. By clicking on the isometric view, this is basically, we are capable of doing a view for the whole part. We can click on the CAD model and you can see what happened in here. It automatically created for us a isometric view that is in here. So I'm gonna move it a little bit. Now tradition is isometric view is located in here, but that's okay. And as soon as I double click, it's going to create for me the view, the isometric view that we have. So this is a lot of element that we can do. We can actually redefine, we can actually create some snapping, we can create all that we like, everything that is important. You have to keep in mind something, and that something is that you're creating this to enable someone to manufacture it or to redesign it. So when you are creating this blueprint, this draft, someone with the details on here, it should be sufficient for someone to recreate it. So at this moment, you don't have any dimensions, you have none of these things. So this is something that needs to be thought of. Let's go ahead and now take a look at the creation of a detail view. So in our toolbar in here, we have so many different elements, and this one in here is relevant to detail view. And we have different options like detail view profile, we have detail view, quick detail view, and so on. We're going to select detail view and this location. Now let's go ahead and click wherever we want to position the callout center. So this is in here, and we can go ahead and click to position the callout center. And so actually you should select like the area where you want. So actually let's go ahead and say we want a detailed view. In the tutorial, do I say any location? Okay, so in the tutorial we say this location, so I am going to actually do it at this location. Let's do this, and like we just augmented a different scale 2:1. So let's say you have some location. Let's go ahead and recreate one for here. So let's say in some location you have a very small detail in here that you want people to see, and you can, maximize this and make it in here. So sometimes the scale is not enough. You can actually try to see in properties, and actually you can try to put the scale that you want. So you can, let's say you wanted a 5/1 scale, so you want really the detail to show up, so you can activate the scale. So this is not really in the tutorial, just to demonstrate it again. Like you can right click on your element properties, and then in the scale in here you can actually go ahead and do it. So like I made it a detail B, this is the detail B. What's good is that it shows you the reference. So this is this is a cross section, you see it in here. This is detail C, you see it in here, and so on. All right, so you can always drag things around, so you can actually move whatever you want from wherever you want. So let's say this is supposed to be here. Let's say this is the isometric view supposed to be here. The cross section we want it here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this detail, and I'm gonna move my section here. And let's say I'm gonna put my detail here. You can always change and always drag around and put the position wherever it is satisfactory to you. Now, This is important that we've created those different views, but what we need to do is to create the dimensions. So there are in here, so what's important is there are so many dimensions that you can create, and you can actually select on the dimensions. And let's say you want a chain dimension, you want a regular dimension, you can angles, radiuses, whatever you need, diameter, you can actually create them. But also, what you can is you can create you can generate dimensions icon, and this will help you to see some dimensions that are detailed and applied to the section views. So this is we're going to demonstrate some of these features. I'm going to click on this dimension here, and I'm gonna select this dimension. This gave me automatically the diameter. Let's say I'm gonna click on the dimension here, and I'm going to select this edge. It gave me the length. Of course you have to, so let's go ahead and demonstrate another one. A let's try this accumulated dimension. So we can actually, you can also put them on the wherever you want. So let's say this one, and you can, let's take an angle dimension between this one and this one. I mean, I'm randomly selecting stuff just to demonstrate the different icons that we have to create the dimension. We can also, as we have said before, we can click on the generate dimension icon. This is the generate dimension icon, and you can try to create from like generated constraints from different elements, and you can press that and create them. So this is also another way that you can try to constrain your part and put dimensions and import them into your design. So this is a little bit the first portion of this tutorial, which is demonstrating these random different elements to create the views. We talked about the front views, we talked about the isometric view, we talked about section view, we talked about the detailed view. Now this is important because what you are usually doing when you're producing this is to create production plans. And throughout this semester, I'm looking for production plans that are A3 papers. They should have the assigned format drawing, and they should have enough dimensions so that we can recreate them. So this is how we are going to now demonstrate the second portion, which is how we can add a background view so that you can add the different information. So we're going to click on File. Then after File, we're going to click on Page Setup. And within Page Setup, we're going to click Insert Background View. And then we are going to browse for the drawing file that is needed, that was provided to you. And you can see in here the layout. And then I'm going to click Insert and OK. So you see what happened in here? We have activated a frame for our drawing so that we can actually change information and make this information very clear for whomever is going to see it. Now, in order to edit it, because like right now, if I double click, I can only change the view. So first of all, I am going to just make sure that my views are inside, although this is really not something that we are going to use, but hey, might as well make sure that things are clean. All right, so now everything is inside. In order to edit it, you click Edit and then Sheet Background. What this happens, it brings you to the dimension in here. So in here, we're going to write, this is tutorial number 3. In here, you have to go ahead, let's go ahead and minimize this and maximize this so that you can see what I'm trying to do. and panning here. So designed by, in here you put your name. In my case it's Rami Herrick. The date is whatever is the date of the day. Sometime in the, okay, let's not go wild. 2020 May 20, not sure what the date is, and so on. And you can put in here your drawing number and other information. Also, you can, if you want to add details or if you have different parts, you can add the information in here. Once you're done, you click on Edit and Working Views. This brings you back to the view, and we have changed these different elements. And this is the end of this tutorial, and you can actually go ahead and test it out.